Harvard conducted a research study, and they tracked more than 1,000 people from birth until age 32, looking for what made someone successful. What common characteristic or trait was seen in a successful individual? It wasn't their race, what language they spoke, what neighborhood they grew up in, or how much money their parents had. It wasn't how well they did on standardized tests, or even their IQ. It was self-control. Those who were successful, who had good careers, financial stability, loving relationships, and physical health, they were the ones who could focus, pay attention, and regulate their emotions. They were the ones that practiced mindfulness. CEOs, celebrities, world-famous athletes, they flocked to the trainings, paying as much as $10,000 to learn the secrets of success. Now, it's important that we have mindful leaders, but we are missing great thinkers, innovators, and doers, those who can't afford to pay for the skills required to succeed. Do we really think all the best and brightest happen to be born with money? And what about those born in poverty? I mean, poverty is traumatic. Or born into generational poverty, whose parents and grandparents, aunts, uncles, sisters, and brothers all live in poverty. They're surrounded by the trauma of poverty. And stress, it's a contagious disease. It doesn't just affect the adults, it affects everyone living in the home. We know that poverty is traumatic. We know that trauma changes the brain. And so without practices like mindfulness, gifted children are left behind. I believe that mindfulness practice should be offered in every school, in every county, in every district, in every state. We know that one of the #1 predictors for a student dropping out of high school is behavioral issues. And we know that if you drop out, you're 4 times more likely to live in poverty. So we create these very specific rules and consequences, but do we really think little Timmy doesn't know he shouldn't poke little Tommy in the eye? Or does he not know how to stop himself? Has he never learned how to manage his emotions? And for some, those emotions can become so overwhelming they can feel permanent. Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death in children ages 10 to 24. 4,800 succeed in taking their own lives every year, and 157,000 are treated for self-inflicted injuries, just in the US. In a study looking at 320 schools, students ages 13 to 17, they found that nearly half, 49.5%, met the criteria for suffering from at least one mental health issue: anxiety, depression, ADHD, eating disorders. We know that schools are the #1 provider for support for students. We know you're struggling. We know that mindfulness works. So I ask you again, why aren't we teaching it to you? It's with this in mind that I conducted a research study with the University of Colorado, Denver on the impacts of mindfulness instruction on 4th grade students in a low-income school here in Denver. We looked at the teacher's perception of the students' ability to regulate their emotions, engage in pro-social behavior, and academic achievement. Those students who went through mindfulness practice scored 250% higher on emotional regulation, 600% higher on pro-social behavior, and 550% higher on academic achievement than those who did not go through the class. We then asked the students, well, what do you think of mindfulness class? 100% anonymously self-reported that they enjoyed the class, they benefited from the practice, they will continue to do it, and they believe all other children should learn it. They saw the greatest improvements in their ability to calm down, focus, and avoid fights, as well as feeling happier at school and at home. The teacher rated the class a 10 out of 10 and said that she believed mindfulness instruction actually led to an increase in teaching time of between 11 and 20 minutes. Mindfulness practices are exercises designed to help you become a more mindful human being, one who can focus and pay attention in the midst of distraction, one who can feel intense emotions and rather than react, reflect and respond. Mindful listening, man, that's going to be important to every relationship you ever have for your entire life. Mindful eating, that's going to determine your physical and mental health. And mindful breathing allows you to find calm and focus, peace in the chaos. These practices, they ultimately lead to compassion, generosity, kindness, altruism. We need the world to be more mindful. We need you to be more mindful. First, you have to decide that you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, and then go about being it. Throughout this talk, I've asked you why you aren't being taught mindfulness. I will end with asking you to take personal responsibility for your life. If you believe, as I do, as many, many, many others do, that the path to your success, the path to a better world, lies in the practice of mindfulness, then ask your teachers and administrators to bring in experts to give you the skills that you need to have to succeed.